Listen, I'm gonna have to let you go. I'm expecting some friends here soon. Wait, you know what? I think they're here now. Gotta let you go. Bye. Wives, right? Wasn't expecting to see y'all back so soon. How you doing? Well, now that you're here, I think I got a little story for you. So, I was wanting to tell you a story about this man. He's a 62-year-old man, and he suffers from a very, very bad case of Parkinson's disease. So the man that I'm talking about is a legend. He's a legend in Hollywood, and he is a legend to anybody who's ever had the privilege to see any of the work he's done on the big screen or the small screen. Now, this man's name is Michael J. Fox. So Michael Andrew Fox was born June 9th, 1961 in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. He was born to his mother Phyllis and his father William. His father William was a 25-year vet of the Canadian Forces. And when he was done with that, he moved on to be a police dispatch. So Michael and his family were constantly moving around Canada to all these different cities when his father was still working in the service. So Michael got his first acting gig at the age of 16. It was in a Canadian TV series called Leo and Me. And when he turned 18 years old in 1979, he left, moved out to Los Angeles to further pursue his acting career. So Michael's first two movie roles. In 1980, he had a role in a movie called Midnight Madness. And then in 1982, he had a role in a movie called Class of 1984. Now, he was credited in those films as Michael Fox. As you'll find out later, there was already a man registered as Michael Fox in the Screen Actors Guild. So eventually, that's when the J would be born in between the Michael and Fox. Michael J. Fox. So, after Michael did those two movies, he ended up landing a role in a TV series. He landed a role as a character named Alex Keaton in the show Family Ties. Now, this show ran for 7 years, from 1982 to 1989, and this show made Michael J. Fox a household name. Now, they say he negotiated this role while he was sitting there on a payphone at a fast food chicken restaurant. Throughout Michael J. Fox's time on Family Ties, he ended up notching 3 Emmy Awards, 1986, 87, and 88. In 89, he got himself a Golden Globe for his role on Family Ties as well. So the great director Robert Zemeckis was working on a film that was scheduled to be released in 1985. And on this film, he had his lead role being portrayed by an actor named Eric Stoltz. This movie he was working on was called Back to the Future. So Robert Zemeckis wanted to replace Eric Stoltz, and he wanted Michael J. Fox. Now, the creator of Family Ties would not let them approach Michael because they said they needed him on the show because another character was out on maternity leave, and they said they needed Michael's character to hold the fort down because the show would just fail if he wasn't there. But the thing is, eventually they cracked and they let Zemeckis get with Michael, and they talked and they ended up giving him the role, and he would end up replacing Eric Stoltz in Back to the Future. So I got 2 things to say. First, could you imagine all of the other actors on Back to the Future? They had to go reshoot so many roles because Eric Stoltz had already filmed so many of the scenes. They had shot so much of the movie with him as the lead as Marty McFly. Now, when Michael took over, they had to reshoot all those scenes. Now, second, could you really imagine? Now, Eric Stoltz is not a bad actor. He's got some good movies under his belt. Pulp Fiction is awesome, by the way. But could you imagine him playing Marty McFly? There's no way in hell I could imagine anybody but Michael J. Fox doing that role. Nobody. So now that Michael had the role as Marty McFly on Back to the Future, he would do this. He would go to the Family Tie set at 10 a.m. and he would shoot his scenes and rehearse. He would do this until 6 p.m. After that, he would leave and head over to the studio to shoot all of his scenes on Back to the Future. He would stay there until 2:30 a.m. He would continue this schedule for 2 months straight. He would also go on to release another movie the same year as the first Back to the Future movie in 1985 that to this day is still considered a classic. That's Teen Wolf. Teen Wolf is awesome. So Michael J. Fox plays a high school student, and he doesn't realize he has a gene that passes down through his family that gives him the ability to turn into a werewolf whenever he wants. Once he realizes he can control this ability, an awesome movie ensues. So 1996 was a big year for Michael J. Fox. He released one of my favorite movies. Not just one of my favorite Michael J. Fox movies, but one of my favorite movies, period. The Frighteners. It was directed by Peter Jackson. Awesome movie. If you've never seen it, go watch it. Then he signed on to another TV series. He signed on for the show Spin City, where he would play Deputy Mayor Mike Flaherty. Spin City ran from 1996 all the way to 2002. So it was during season 3 of Spin City that Michael J. Fox publicly came out and said he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. The following season, on season 4, he ended up quitting the show and they brought on Charlie Sheen to replace him. Right now, I want to give you a list of a few movies that Michael J. Fox never shows his face in, but I guarantee these movies touched multiple generations. So when I was a child, there was a movie called Homeward Bound: The Incredible Journey, and it spawned a sequel called Homeward Bound: Lost in San Francisco. Both of these movies, Michael J. Fox voiced an American bulldog named Chance. He was a family pet. Him and two other family pets, they go on this incredible journey in both movies where they get lost and eventually reunited with their families. Very heartwarming story, but those movies, both of them, have a very special place in my heart, and I'm sure some of you out there, they hold a special place in your heart too. So then Michael J. Fox signs on to do the voice of another character for a movie franchise. And it's a little white mouse who goes by the name Stuart Little. Now there was 3 Stuart Little movies and they were all amazing. I loved every single one of them. Now if you're like me, I was going into my teenage years, but I still remember the movies, and yes, I still watched them and loved them. And then I could imagine now as a parent, I guarantee those are the movies I would have shown my kids. They would have been begging to see them because Stuart Little was just that kind of movie. Kids loved it, adults loved it, everybody loved the Stuart Little movies. So ever since Michael J. Fox came out in 1998 about his diagnosis with Parkinson's disease, he's been a huge advocate. He has funded research, and he has also started the Michael J. Fox Foundation in hopes to find a path to a cure one day. Ever since 2010, Michael J. Fox has led over $100 million effort with his foundation to putting study toward the disease. So due to the increasing unreliability of his speech in 2020, Michael J. Fox officially retired from acting altogether. So really quick, basically what Parkinson's disease is a disorder with the central nervous system. This can cause people that are diagnosed with it to have tremors, muscle stiffness, urinary issues, sleep issues, and speech issues, and so many other side effects. This is a horrible disease for anybody to have, especially if it's a very chronic case. So I gotta be honest, it's kind of hard not to feel sad when I see Michael J. Fox do an interview or any type of public appearance, because the disease is obvious with him now. It's very obvious. His case is very strong, and even though he takes medication, it's things that are uncontrollable. But you know what? I guarantee you he don't want you to feel that way. He's a man on a mission. He's trying to find a cure for this disease so he can help himself or even help others. But the one thing we got to do is realize all the great stuff he's given us. He's given us so many great movies, TV shows. He's a great and brilliant mind. So that's what we got to realize, is this is what he's done and given us, because that was his mission. Any of these celebrities out there, it's their mission to give us their music or their acting ability, to leave us with a feeling in our heart, give us that emotion. So he's done his job. Now he's got to live his life, because we're all human. So if there's anything you want to do, you got to go do it. You got to share that beauty with the world, because there's something that we all got in us that we can share. We can make people feel emotion with our storytelling or just our music or the way we write books or whatever it is. But you gotta give that gift to the world. So like I say, what do we do on this channel? We dream big. So thank you everybody. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, take care.